Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you to my colleagues on the Congressional Black Caucus. The American government still owes a debt. The Congressional Black Caucus has always been at the forefront of fighting against systemic racism. Systemic racism, however, has been a cancer on the skin and the fabric of this nation that has not been remedied, it is only deepened. And H.R. 40, the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals, is the answer to the original sin. It is, in fact, a restorative and repair approach to the extreme disparities that rendered and exhibited the horrors of the killing and the murder of my former constituent, George Floyd. His family still lives in Houston, and they too are wanting justice in the passage of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. But as well, we understand that the disparities that are so stark, that are reflective of the brutality, of the cruelty, the fundamental injustice and humanity of slavery have never been answered. The key question here is that as the slaves were freed, there was no tangible wealth given for their work of over 200 years. That lack of wealth reflected in the anger and anguish of those who received them that led into a broken Reconstruction, Jim Crowism, 4,000 African Americans lynched, and then a period of attempt at civil rights and the loss of the civil rights battlers, in essence, on the civil rights battlefield, affirmative action now being attacked, and now we come to a point of enormous disparities in healthcare, in the idea of wealth, the idea of education, and the idea of disparities in youth and housing and the justice system. Finally, I would say, to the question of those who ask, I did not have slaves. My family did not have slaves. This 13-member commission established by the federal government answers the question that is not the individual act of holding slaves. It is the government sanction that denied African Americans their equality, and as well, the government's responsibility with this 13-member commission to design the responses to the continued death, murder, and inequities in our community. This is America's responsibility to pay, the American government's responsibility to pay her debt.
Now, the nonsense that you just heard coming out of this buffoon Sheila Jackson Lee's mouth is an absolute insult to foundational Black Americans everywhere. Now, I know what you're saying. GBS, how could that be an insult? They're actually talking about reparations. For those of you that are under a rock somewhere and hadn't actually looked at that bill, that big ass nothing burger, that is a study forming a commission of coons with records that show that you have done nothing for Black people in this country for the last 50 plus years, is an insult. It gives them $12 million to study what we're telling you you're going to give us. There is no study. See, that's what they're going to learn. The Congressional Black Caucus and the Democrat Party and the Republicans, both sides, all of them are going to learn that we're telling you what you're going to do as elected officials if you want our votes. Benign neglect works both ways, and as all of you know, when Black people get a hold of something and perfect it, it's better than anything that has ever been seen before. And that's what we're going to do with this benign neglect family. They are not going to have spent the last 50 years doing things for immigrants, illegals, Hispanics, Asians, every other group, including the dominant society, and put us dead last. And then you're going to tell us, oh, when it comes time to do something for you, we got to have a study and sit up and think about it in a damn committee, which is a time-wasting mechanism. They can go to hell. Unless they break our bread, since they want to use our terms talking about tangibles, that's exactly what you're going to give us. There's not going to be any study from a bunch of hand-picked coons that are sitting up here talking about you going to decide if we should get reparations or not. Most of you not even foundational Black Americans sitting up there. No. This isn't going to stand. We are on cold more than we've ever been. And what's going to happen is Donald Trump will go back in that White House if you sit up here and keep playing these games, because they're going to have to learn the hard way. Black people are not in the same state of mind that we were in before any of this George Floyd uprisings that have happened behind our brother George Floyd's murder. We were already moving towards getting our tangibles, and now that just tipped it even further over the line with the stance that we have to take, because we are focused on punishing these damn race soldiers, getting our economic tangibles that are deserved for over 400 plus years of oppression on up through Jim Crow on today. We're going to have that if you get anything from us. If not, okay, cool. You can sit here and Republicans will keep getting back in office because white America has spoken in majority. The greater majority, anything over 50%, are white supremacists. They want a Donald Trump in office. They don't want Trump-like, because both of them are the same on paper when you look at Joe Biden and Trump. They want the real deal. See, he's their version of a living John Wayne. An open racist that doesn't give a damn about who he offends. He calls it like it is. That's what the greater majority of the dominant society in this country wants. Now, for those of you white people that aren't white supremacists, that have actually started to look back at actual history and have decided to take a stand for justice and actually speak up and do the right thing, most of you are against a Donald Trump. However, let me make this clear. A lot of you start thinking that as soon as somebody starts criticizing the Democrats, the Democrats as I call them, that means that they're Republican. To hell with both parties. Black people, foundational black Americans in this country, are not going to put up with being dead last and told we gotta wait or you gotta think about it. You're going to give us exactly what all these other groups have gotten off of our backs, let alone that. All these other groups that they've caped for, LGBTQ, Asians, Hispanics, like I said, even the dominant society, they put all those people ahead of us for over 50 years, and you think that we're going to sit up here and vote for you just because you talking about reparations now and actually using our language? See, they watch us. They watch all these content creators. They know who we are. Whether it's Jason Black, whether it's Tariq Nasheed, Professor Black Truth, my brother Yurima Karama, George Macon, they know who we are. We check our analytics. We see you. We see you watching. My brother Phil from the African Diaspora News channel, my brother Taz, exclusives. You know, check out all of those channels, even though a lot of us may disagree on some things. One thing is for certain, we all care about black society, and we're not trying to see our people settle for nothing. And that's exactly what benign neglect is. When you going out there doing this ridiculous, choose the lesser of two evils things. See, let me ask you something, family. We all know that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results, right? Okay, we've done that for the last 50 plus years, choosing the lesser of two evils. What has it gotten us? No, that's done. It's going to be done our way. And black society now has finally got on code enough and got its collective self-esteem enough to tell these people, this is what you're going to do for us. I'm going to link in the description box the broadcast that Jason Black did outlining what a black agenda should be for foundational black American society. And I want you all to check that broadcast out. And you'll see that my brother was right on point with what he was saying. That's what we should be coming for. That's what we will not accept less than. Now, if anybody want to add something to that, as long as it's in our benefit, I'm all for it. But one thing we will not do is accept less than that. See, these people right now, they're realizing that they're desperate, they're useless to the dominant society in either party because they cannot fool black people and pacify us, which is why it's a beautiful thing that we're going through this pandemic, so to speak, because it's cut out all the distractions. There's no entertainment like it was before. All the distractions are cut out and events have happened, whether it's George Floyd's murder or our sister Breonna Taylor's murder and that buck dancing coon Cameron down there. That Daniel Cameron, man, he's disgusting, man. Big overgrown bedbug, which goes to show you that anytime you see a black person, be it man or woman, with a white spouse, they are not for our people 90% of the time. See, those things were catalysts that pushed us to this point we're in now, where we're focused on getting our economic tangibles and punishing these people that try to harm us and actually do kill black people. There's not going to be any distractions. There's not going to be any getting caught up between Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter. Okay, fine. I got to give a shout out to my brother Tariq Nasheed again. Take the confusion out of it. No anti-black racism. That addresses the racism from every other group outside of black society. And it also addresses the main threat of white supremacy. There's no tap dancing around that. It homes straight in on the point. That's what it's going to be, combined with economic tangibles, which are going to be in the form of cash payments, which is just a start. That's just what you're going to start doing for us if you want our votes. See, when they go and have these hearings and go and handpick all these coons like they did with that HR 40 hearing that they had, that sham, you notice they don't ever choose anybody like a Dr. Claude Anderson to go speak. They don't choose anybody like a Professor James Smalls. People that's going to actually speak up in the interest of black society. They're not choosing those people. They know not to do that because those people are going to get up there and lay out exactly what we should have. They know better. But one thing that they haven't figured out yet is there's not going to be a return to the status quo for Black American society. You're going to get used to serving us like you were elected to do, or you're not going to be there much longer. See, all this talking about vote, vote, vote. Oh, young people are not stupid. They see what you're not doing for them. They see what happened to them in the past and the present under your watch. And if they do vote, they're going to get you up out of office. That's what's going to happen. We're not going to keep recycling and putting the same old treacherous coons in positions of power and going along to get along. That's over. And see, this is the sad thing about these flunkies like the Congressional Black Incompetents. They are so far gone and so far defeated and broken that they don't even understand that black people, for the majority in this country, are on code to the point that we're not going for that anymore. They're still trying to figure out a way to get us back on that plantation in either party, particularly the Democrats, since that's what black people have primarily voted for in this country over the last 50 plus years. That's over. It's not going to be any more getting something for nothing. And that's for every group dealing with us. If you want to deal with on-code black society, you're going to have to go quid pro quo. You're going to have to give us something in exchange for something. It's going to have to benefit us mutually. It's not going to be a wait and see. We're not going to entertain any studies. Y'all don't do that for these other groups. That's not going to happen for us. So I definitely had to go ahead and touch on this once I saw this idiot sitting up here thinking that she's going to co-opt our terms and start speaking to us like they've always been doing things for us. I mean, see, that's the insult, black family, before I close this out. When somebody tries to piss in your face and tell you it's yellow rain, when you can clearly look at their track record and see what they have not done for black society, just look at the things they're not trying to call for now. We need justice for our sister Breonna Taylor. They should be screaming that from the rafters. Before Elijah Cummings passed, he was all upset, yelling and screaming about immigrant children in cages down on the border. We need that same passion when our sisters like Breonna Taylor get murdered. Or George Floyd, or any of the list of black people that have been murdered by these damn race soldiers. We need all of them to be up there with that type of emotion. But see, they don't do that. That's all right, though. We gonna learn. We got all the time we need to teach you this lesson. You didn't learn anything from the 2016 election, but you will. You will. That's both Republicans and Democrats. That being said, Black First family, stay safe.